The Relational Workplace is a book about growing our sense of connection and belonging in our workplaces. And this sense of connection and belonging is what most people say is missing for them. So what's driving disconnection in our workplaces? Well, one big driver is our dominance-based culture of masculinity, which for generations has been defining workplace cultures. In the early 1980s, a man named Paul Kivel went around to boys in Oakland high schools, and he asked them a very simple question. What are the rules for being a man? And the answers they gave him were, don't show your emotions, be a breadwinner, not a caregiver, be tough, never ask for help, have control over women and girls, be heterosexual, not homosexual. If you're going to have conversations with other boys and men, make them about sports or cars or money. Don't talk about anything deep. Now, these are generations-old ideas about masculinity, which then show up in the workplace for us as men. An organization named Catalyst recently did a study, and what they discovered is that 94% of men in the working world deal with what are called combative workplace cultures. And what is combative workplace culture? It's a culture in which men police and bully each other to enforce traditional views of masculinity. And if that level of combative workplace culture is high enough, men have stated that when a man next to them makes a sexist comment about a woman or non-binary person in the office, they won't speak up. So what we have is we have generations-old ideas about masculine dominant workplace culture colliding headlong with DEI. And if you're going to pick a winner in that fight, you'd better pick DEI, because I guarantee you organizations already fully understand that more diverse, equitable, inclusive organizations have better business outcomes, have dramatically higher levels of innovation, have better employee retention, and are better positioned to compete in the global marketplace. So what is going on for men that we continue to bring these retrogressive ideas about masculine business culture, when we know and understand that the environment we're working in is asking us for something different? Well, it's deeply conditioned for us. It's cultural conditioning that has been repeatedly enforced upon most men from a very early age. So how does man box culture show up in the workplace? Well, as men, we might not invite other people's ideas in a meeting. We might talk over others instead of build with them. We might seek the last word versus listening. We don't attend to team culture or relationships. We choose time and efficiency over people. In these ways, dominance-based ideas keep showing up for us almost automatically. Now, how do we undo the impact of all of this cultural conditioning? Well, let's take a look at this first graphic. This is the Man Box Choice Point Figure 1, and it is a closed loop. You do not want to be in a closed loop like this. What we have is men creating connection and inclusion, creating community for themselves in the workplace, and then defaulting into man box culture behaviors, which creates isolation. And this is a loop that may take place multiple times in a day. In the morning, we may create some connection and some common understanding with someone, but then we talk over them in a meeting. Or we seek the last word and don't listen. And that breaks that connection, that sense of trust, and moves us back into isolation. What happens instead if we try something different? Let's take a look at Figure 2 of the Man Box Choice Point. Now here, what we see is men working to create connection and inclusion, to create a community of working relationships. And when they arrive at that moment when a man box culture conditioned response is coming up for them, they instead choose to move past that, past the isolation it creates, and stay in that space of connection and inclusion. What gets created in that moment is different ways of working for us as men that are more collaborative and more relational. Men know and understand that we need richer relationships in our lives. We understand the degree to which man box culture is isolating for us. So the only step we need to take after that is to become mindful of how it shows up in our working relationships and in our personal lives, and make different choices which move us into connection and inclusion.